Hi, my name is Andrew Smithwick, and I am so glad you have expressed interest in the First Tech Challenge, hosted by First. This presentation assumes you are joining a pre-existing team. The First Tech Challenge is a robotics competition for grades 7 through 12, where students compete head-to-head by designing, building, and programming robots to complete predetermined tasks. The FTC competition spans over a season. The season starts in September during the kickoff event, when First releases the year's challenge. Teams all gather at a location to watch the new game video and to exchange ideas on how the game might be played. Competitions occur from October through March. Each team is guaranteed 5 competitions: Meet 0, Meet 1 through 3, and the Interleague Tournament. If your team does well, you can qualify for regional world championships and compete against the best of the world. The location and time of the competition depends on the league you are in. A league consists of teams in a specified region. Any league-specific questions you may have can be directed to your team mentor. Meets 1 through 3 usually occur over half a day.
The Interleague Tournament, ILT, and beyond usually takes all day. Many new features are added when a team reaches ILT. The Interleague Tournament will be the first time a team faces judging. We will go over more about judging at a later date, but it is basically how you pitch your worthiness for awards. ILT is also the first event that takes into consideration your notebook. Finally, ILT is the first event that awards are issued. You are able to advance through certain awards too.
Regional World Championships may be farther away, requiring the team to fundraise for transportation and board. For the region we are in, the competitions are usually held at Santa Fe Middle School in the past year. Higher competitions are held at Monrovia High School. World-level competitions were held at either Houston, Texas or Detroit, Michigan.
In a competition, each team will compete in an equal number of matches. In each match, you will be allied with another team to face 2 other teams. 2 teams against 2. Your ally for one match may be your opponent for the next. Each match consists of 2 phases, teleop and autonomous. In autonomous, the robot follows a predetermined set of instructions to complete tasks. In teleop, designated team members called drivers can control the robot manually with gamepads. Each task has a score associated with it, and your ranking depends on how many points you can score. There are also other awards, such as for outreach. We will get into more specifics about the competition at a later lesson.
Why should you join an FTC robotics team? Participating in FTC robotics competitions comes with a whole slew of benefits, both individually and as part of a group. You will gain technical expertise while having fun, completing cool, tangible projects that mirror those in the workplace and competing to show off your talent. Also, robotics opens doors to belonging to a group of other like-minded students, and learning and applying valuable skills for individual development and handling group dynamics. Many people, myself included, find that participating in robotics helps in making new friends from all grade levels in high school. Robotics can help you adjust to the high school environment more quickly. Most of my friends are from robotics team, and most of the parties I get invited to are hosted by other robotics team members. So, if you need help fitting into your high school, this is a great start. Robotics also looks good on college applications as an extracurricular activity. Colleges decide on whom to admit by looking at your academic qualifications and extracurricular activities. Robotics is one activity that colleges appreciate because they know you would gain valuable skills during the process. To be able to keep good grades and excel in robotics competitions demonstrate proven evidence in dedication, discipline, time management skills, teamwork skills, research skill and community mindset, all of which are what colleges look for in an applicant. There are also scholarships you can get through the First Tech Challenge. When talking about how FTC is relevant to the workplace, let's begin with a personal example. One time, my father, who is a research engineer, brought home one of his projects to work on. I noticed that the servos he was using were the same ones we used back at the robotics room. Realizing that what I was doing at robotics had applications in the workplace really motivated me to hone my craft. The more advanced techniques you apply to FTC, the more likely you are to be prepared for the real-world engineering work experience. Robotics helps spur individual development. By participating in a very technical and competitive club, you will learn to multitask and handle complex multifaceted projects. By practicing time management, negotiation, people skills, and leadership, you will not only be setting up your team for success, but also be setting yourself up for success in the workplace. When you first start out, The amount of stuff that you still don't know can feel overwhelming. I wouldn't blame you if half the stuff in these tutorials goes over your heads. However, through robotics, you will learn to use your peers, the internet, and mentors to get the information you need.
Let's discuss how you can make your research easier and more effective. Click the menu items below to navigate to different slides, or click Next.
Let's look at a scenario to demonstrate how you might be able to get help on new topics you are trying to tackle. We will be going over how to use your teammates, other teams, and industry professionals to find the solutions you need. Say you're a programmer. You have an idea for a cool new algorithm that will boost the team's score immensely in the competition, but you are stuck on its implementation. Whenever you are stuck on something, the first step you should take is searching online. Use keywords in your search. In FTC, search your problem followed by FTC or first tech challenge. The part following your question are the keywords you use. It might take multiple tries of rewording your question to find something useful. Try making your search question more specific, and then broader. For instance, I could make drive code FTC more specific and say drive code FTC Android Studio Tank Drive. Then, I can make my search more general by searching how to make the robot move FTC. Don't get discouraged. Take about 15 to 30 minutes to dig around on forums and YouTube. Remember, the internet will have the time and patience to answer all of your questions, other people may not. If searching online doesn't work, do a few things before you move on to asking real people. Compile a list of all the resources you checked out, from most useful to least useful. Highlight specific parts that were near hits to what you were asking for. Ask any questions you may have from the forums, and point out what wasn't clear to you. This will show the person that you did the background work and will help you get an audience. It can also help the person you ask answer your question. Also, leave your question on a forum, such as Reddit and the FTC forum. The first people you want to ask are your teammates and your team mentor. These people are more likely to be invested in your success, compared to other teams and industry professionals. In general, try to ask a specific question. Even asking what should my first steps be? Instead of saying teach me everything will help immensely in making people want to help you. Teach me everything is not specific, and sounds daunting for the person you are asking to do. What should my first steps be? Is more specific, and makes the person feel more willing to help. If asking your teammates have no luck, and you don't have a reply from the forums yet, try asking other teams. This method is better for FTC-specific questions, like questions about the notebook, or the syntax of FTC code. You'll want to try to form relationships with other teams for this purpose, and to swap ideas. Take a look at my tutorial for that under the Outreach section if your team does not have connections with other teams. You can also try to initiate a conversation by emailing them or through social media, and forming a relationship that way. Detail your question, and the sources you searched up before just like you did with your teammates. Wait 3 days to a week before you follow up. Finally, try asking industry professionals that your team has contact with. This option is good for concepts, such as for the workflow of programming, business/fundraising, CAD, and engineering. You'll want to use this option the least, as adults tend to be very busy people. If they are willing to meet with you, come in prepared with questions that do not waste time. Make sure to work around their schedule, they have no obligation to help you. You can use a similar email to the one you sent to other teams, but ensure that it is kept formal. You can use spelling and grammar checks like those offered by Grammarly to make sure your email is professional. Make sure to keep the email as documentation for your Connect section. In between waiting for replies, try to shift your focus to your other responsibilities, like notebook entries or trying out your secondary role. It is definitely easier to get help when you have many strong connections, so work towards that in the future if you are struggling to get help. As always, you can look at my tutorial for that in the Outreach section. You might feel begrudgingly tempted to look for hours on end for the answer on forums, but you will most likely end up fed up with the internet. If you do want to spend more time, do it over multiple days if possible, substituting the above time killers in the meantime. Good luck.
Coordination, scheduling, and planning, how to work smoothly with a team. Multitasking, scheduling, leadership, and negotiation are all skills that you will use both individually and in a group setting. You, the programmer, finally got the cool new score-boosting autonomous prototype for tomorrow's competition. However, the engineers are still busy with the robot. Even worse, instead of working on it when you were still programming, They chose that time to be on break. While taking a break isn't bad, couldn't they have finished what they were doing first so you could implement your idea in time? Look below to choose an option people may take, and explore the consequences. Now, before we crusade against engineers, it is important to remember that they probably didn't mean to mess you up. Instead, they probably didn't know that you needed them to finish their work first so you could work. This is why speaking up about such matters is important. I hope you know answer D is the correct choice. So, how do we handle this scenario? To fix problems like these, it is important to make sure there is lots of planning and communication within the team. Specify what you need other people to get done before you can continue, and vice versa. Write it down in an organized list. In order to avoid all conflicts of timing and meeting deadlines, there needs to be a clear timeline of each step clear to all team members. Everyone needs to be involved in the planning of this timeline. Planning needs to take into consideration sequence of tasks and availability of each student for certain tasks. Remember, your team wants to keep clear communication. Short team meetings can help make sure everyone is on track. Make dependencies clear, for instance, thing A by Group A needs to be done before thing B can be done by Group B, so thing A can be made more of a priority. Plan ahead, and create your workflow and deadlines around dependencies. For instance, have the programmers finish their code before Thursday so the drivers have time to practice driving. Never forget, people are depending on you to get the job done so they can do their job. Detailed planning, clear communications, compromising, cooperation, keeping deadlines, handling stress, these are all part of teamwork. By participating in an FTC robotics team, you are gradually being prepared for college and your career. To help you along, there are online organization tools to help you stay organized and facilitate communication. Use workflow apps like Trello and calendars like Google Calendar to keep track of all of the things you need to do. Then, have a check-in form where people confirm that they know what they want to do for the day. Most importantly, be flexible. If things don't quite go according to plan, improvise.
One of the tools you can use to help your organization is Trello. Trello is a free-to-use online organizational tool where you can create lists to help keep track of your activities. Here, I've made a special board for work requests. I've made 3 separate lists, one for each role on our team. Other members can add a request by clicking on the plus button to add another card. In the title, I like to put a quick summary of what I am requesting. Then I can add tags on the urgency of the request and make a larger description of what I need. Be sure to follow up in person if you can. As always, Trello should be used after a meeting to keep track of what was decided. Another tool you can use to make sure there are no timing conflicts is Google Calendar. Let's use the robot as an example. You can reserve a slot of time to let others know that you would like to use the robot at that time. If others would like to use the robot at that time slot, they can bring it up at a meeting or come to you directly to work it out. In the description, specify what type of activity you are asking for. For instance, do you just need the robot, or do you need the entire team for outreach? You can also use the guest feature to notify people that you need them for an event. We implement these strategies because more likely than not, your goal is to win and learn more about robotics. To reach either of these goals, we need to gain experience through doing. You won't be able to effectively learn if other members are holding back your progress and vice versa.
We can use the analogy of a web to visualize these dependencies. Each member of robotics is dependent on another to get their job done. If a team is not careful and does not maintain good group dynamic skills, the team can get caught in this web of dependencies.
To help you along, use workflow apps like Trello to keep track of all the things you need to do. Then have a check-in form when people confirm that they know what they want to do for the day. Most importantly, be flexible. If things don't quite go according to plan, improvise. Remember, people are depending on you to get the job done so they can do their job.
Familiarizing yourself with the game.
The FTC competition consists of the game component and the awards component. Let's first take a look at the game component. In the game component, teams compete by using their robots to complete tasks. The specific task of each competition can be found in the year's game video. Just search up FTC Your Year game video to find it. You compete in matches 3 minutes long that consists of 2 phases, autonomous and teleup. Click below to learn more about each phase, or click next to automatically advance. In the autonomous phase, you give your robot preloaded instructions to complete certain tasks. During the autonomous phase, your drivers are not allowed to touch the controller. All robot movement must be from the code. You can use different sensors to make your navigation more reliable. This phase lasts for 30 seconds. In the teleop phase, your drivers use gamepads to drive the robot around and complete tasks. This phase lasts for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. During the last 30 seconds, you will enter the endgame phase. In this phase, you can score extra points by completing extra goals. The awards component of the competition revolves around your notebook and outreach. In certain larger leagues, you can advance through earning awards. We will go through a quick overview of what the awards are. Ideas on how to execute them and more in-depth explanations will be in the outreach section of the tutorial. Awards are only given out at ILT and higher competitions. Outreach awards focus on your connections to the community. The Connect Award focuses on the team's connections with industry professionals. More specifically, how you were able to improve yourselves as a team using the advice and techniques of those industry professionals. The Motivate Award focuses on how a team spreads robotics and STEM throughout the community. To differentiate between Connect and Motivate, think about a ladder. We are connecting to those above, the industry professionals, and motivating those down below, people not involved in STEM. The Inspire Award focuses on how well a team scored overall in all the other awards.
Robot Awards. These awards are based on the robot's functions and design. Design Award. The Design Award focuses on how teams demonstrate industrial design principles, striking a balance between form, function, and aesthetics. Think Award. The Think Award focuses on a team's understanding, documentation, and execution of the design process. Inside the engineering notebook, teams must put pictures or drawings and details documenting all stages of robot design. CAD diagrams of prototypes are also useful here. Innovate Award. The Innovate Award focuses on the creativity of your robot's design. However, your design must still be somewhat stable, robust, and reliable. It may not be optimal, but it must work. Control Award. The Control Award focuses on a team's programs and their use of sensors inside of those programs. The goal is to use multiple sensors at once to create a fast, reliable autonomous. The Design Award is focused on the entire design process of your robot, while the Innovate Award focuses on an innovative or just original and interesting part of your robot that allows it to play the game effectively.
These awards are optional and may not be given at all tournaments. They don't typically advance you to future competitions. In the Compass Award, teams create a video highlighting the mentor's contribution to a team and demonstrates what sets the mentor apart. It's basically a mentor appreciation video. The Promote Award is given to the team that is most successful in creating a compelling video message for the public designed to change our culture and celebrate STEM. Teams must submit a 1-minute long public service announcement video based on the public service announcement subject for the season. This subject changes year to year. The Judges Award is given to the team that leaves a positive impression on the judges. There are also the Winning Alliance Award and the Finalist Award for a team's ranking in the competition. The notebook is the team's documentation of their year. Each role should have their own section to write inside the notebook. Each award should also have a section dedicated to them, and/or a table of contents highlighting certain pages inside the notebook that relate to each award. Finally, there should be an additional section for daily entries. Daily entries are for tracking an individual's or the team's progress at a day-to-day level. To write a personal daily entry, start with writing down your goals for the day. Then, at the end of the day, take 5 to 10 minutes to jot down some things like your progress, what you learned, etc. Below is an example of what a minimum daily entry should be like for each person. For team daily entries, such as for meetings, at least write down what decisions were made and ideas that were rejected or considered. If the meeting can be incorporated into an award, such as a design meeting for a robot category awards, take extra time to flesh the entry out. You don't have to write down the entire entry the day of, although it is suggested. At the very least, write down bullet points of your thoughts. You can also ask outreach members to assist you. These programs are Onshape, SOLIDWORKS, Fusion 360, and Tinkercad. These prototypes are useful for documenting and prototyping components of the robot. You can even easily create diagrams with this software. CAD members have a more indirect role during competitions. Often, they either help the engineers fix the robot or prototype new ideas that pop up from watching other robots. Programmers use Java and a special SDK to make the robot complete tasks and respond to controller input. Programmers are the ones responsible for making sure the robot moves the way it is supposed to. On competition day, they debug any bugs the program may have. Outreach and fundraising members focus on planning robotics-based events, maintaining the notebook, winning alternative awards, and fundraising for the team. They are the ones documenting team meetings and organizing the documentation of all other groups. On competition day, they document the team's performance. More importantly, they form relationships with other teams, scouting out their potential. They may help other team members find the right people to ask questions for. Drivers drive the robot on competition day using gamepads. Before then, they need to practice driving to optimize their techniques. In general, when a member can't do their primary role, they should work with their secondary or other role. This is especially true of drivers. When they do not have access for the robot, they should either discuss driving strategy or help other team members. Efficiency is key. This model requires a lot of communication and teamwork. Lag in one section can impact all other sections. People can absolutely be in multiple roles, but you should focus more on a specific role than the rest. One final note, roles are supposed to help increase productivity and motivation. If they are hindering you, try something different.